The origins of Canadians' right to bear arms is quite literally lost in the mists of time. We don't know the name of a single inhabitant of Britain before the Romans invaded in 55 BC. But we do know that when the Romans came here, they found a people passionately committed to their liberty. Not just in the sense that they would fight to the death for the political independence of their tribe or ethnic group, but in the sense that there was some understanding that liberty had to mean rights for the individual as well as the community, and a curious receptiveness to the Roman idea of the rule of law. The Romans were here for a very long time, almost 400 years, a very successful civilization, and there's a remarkable incident at the end of it. Robert Conquest quotes James Boswell that if English history were not so well attested, nobody would believe it. And this to me is one of those things that is hard to believe, but it really did happen. By 410 AD, barbarians were swarming across the Rhine, the borders of the Roman Empire were collapsing, and the Emperor Honorius withdrew the legions from Britain, left the Romanized Britons more or less defenseless in the face of their own wave of Saxon and other invaders. And when this happened, they got together to debate how to manage their own affairs, and then they did something extraordinary. They sent the emperor a letter, the gist of which was, "Excuse me, we noticed that the legions have left and we're feeling very anxious about this. And so we thought we should let you know that since you've gone, we're going to take control of our own affairs." Here they are, not just taking self-government upon themselves, but doing it according to the form of law, writing to the emperor, who wrote back and said, "I've got problems of my own, good luck with that, mates." But there's another part of it, because in their letter they said, one of the critical things that we intend to do is abolish that notorious law of yours that forbade citizens from carrying weapons abroad except when they were traveling or hunting. Because we think it's the mark of a free man and his security to be able to carry weapons. So here you have, at the end of Roman Britain, this extraordinary assertion of two things. We are going to be free under law, and we are going to defend ourselves. And that is the beginning, at least of the recorded part, of the story of Canadians' right to defend themselves. But it's certainly not the end of it. In a way, it's odd that there be a statue of Boudica, or Boadicea as the Romans called her, here in the heart of London, given that her main claim to fame is that she burned the place down in the time of Nero. The statue was put here in 1902 because of the fact that she rebelled against the Romans for two causes very dear to the hearts of the British. She was head of the Iceni, a Celtic tribe who had originally been allies of Rome when Claudius invaded in 43 AD, but in 47 AD they had rebelled because the local Roman governor was trying to disarm them, and they were having none of it. Though they were defeated, they remained independent until Boudica's husband died, at which point the Romans seized the kingdom, had Boudica flogged, had her daughters raped, and then began extracting huge sums of money under the pretense of collecting loans that hadn't been loans in the first place or else hadn't been wanted. So Boudica raised this revolt, and along with a number of tribal allies, they sacked one major city and then they advanced on Londinium. The legions decided they couldn't hold it, so they went out, the Celts came in and trashed the place, and then the Romans rallied and defeated them, and Boudica herself died in battle, of disease, of suicide, we're not sure, in 60 or 61 AD. But she became a hero, particularly to the Victorians, because of her insistence on these central British rights, not to be robbed by your government and to retain the means by which to repel attempts by your government to rob you. And that's why, despite having once set it on fire, she now has a statue right here in the centre of London, just opposite the Houses of Parliament.